I'm Terrance James, former salesperson. It's hard to know what to believe nowadays, and I want to figure it out together. So come with me, and we're going to do three things. First, I'm going to do a walk around and show you all the features and benefits that the manufacturer wants you to focus on. Then I'm going to take it for a test drive, be your eyes and ears, and let you know how it feels. And at the end, I'll let you know whether or not I recommend it as a reviewer or not, and why. Let's go. Now, Volkswagen says that this is a reinvention of their nostalgic microbus in a time of freedom and fun. So let's go. All right, so the first thing that we want to do is look at this nostalgic look. Obviously, Delmar Motors, thank you very much, who loaned us this vehicle, has deckled this all up, and reminiscent of that time of the late 60s and early 70s, Woodstock, when people were having a lot of fun, and they wanted a simple vehicle with lots of room that could get them around, and that was a little bit different. It was counterculture time, right? And this iconic look is still there. I love the fact that this is an electric vehicle, so of course we got to have it a little efficient on the front for aerodynamics, but essentially the front and the back are pretty much the same shape. I love these 20-inch wheels. I don't know what size they were, maybe 16s back in the day. Of course, they still have these caps type on them for aerodynamics, because being an electric vehicle, you want it to be as slick and smooth as possible, like an eel. But yes, definitely retro looking. I love that. Now, on the front here of the bus, we don't have that awesome spare tire. I would imagine that's one of those spare tire kits nowadays, but I love the look. And of course, you've got that honey grill type look on the front that Volkswagen is well known for. I love the lights and everything else, and a big badge. And look at all this greenhouse space. So like the other one, with lots and lots of windows all the way around, this is just one kind of wraparound glass, but you do have this little square here, which is kind of cool and brings you back to that time. And when we come to the very back here, I love this here. You've got these fake vents on here, which is to bring you back to that time, because this used to be a rear engine, rear wheel drive vehicle, and it still is. So this first edition comes with the electric rear wheel motor, drive motor in the back, and that's reminiscent of that. But you can also get an all-wheel drive as well. So you're looking at anywhere between 230 or 282 horsepower all the way up to 335 horsepower. You're going to get similar range either way, about 375 kilometers. You're going to get DC fast charging either way as well. They say you can do about 10 to 80% in less than a half an hour as well. Now, when you do go with that all-wheel drive, obviously you're going to be a little bit more money. So these range anywhere from $80 to $90,000. The rear-wheel drive starting around 80. But when you get up to that all-wheel drive, you are obviously going to get a little bit more traction. You're going to get more choices in colors. Really, the only options on this is a $2,000 roof, glass roof that you can change to opaque or clear. And the different colors. So the all-wheel drive is going to give you a few more of those $1,500 two-tone options like this one has, that you just have to have, because that really is what makes this thing so special. Also, what you're going to do with that all-wheel drive is you're going to get more towing. So when we come back to here, you're going to be able to tow almost 1,000 more pounds, up to 3,500 instead of 2,600 pounds, and you're going to be able to go 0 to 60 about a second faster. So instead of around 5 or 6 seconds, you're going to do 7 or 8 seconds in the rear wheel drive. So the all-wheel drive is faster, of course. But oddly enough, it's as you can see in the B-roll, it's not quite as good when you're doing your turnarounds. Yeah, that's for sure. It's a multi-point turn because it's all-wheel drive, and you're going to lose the 7-seater, which is strange. I don't know why they do that, but nonetheless, we're going to come back here. And we've got all kinds of practical features. So yeah, that trailer hitch is nice because when installed, it is hidden underneath there when you're not using it, I believe. Now, it does have one of these. Oh, we don't even have to do our river dance, and it's cold. It might warm me up to do the river dance. So you do have a power tailgate, which I really like, and you got that handle for short people like me. And being a Volkswagen, you have this little thing here that you can put like a little triangle thing to make sure nobody runs you over when you're waiting for the tow truck to come because you have no spare tire. But lots of space back here, as you can see. Not a ton of space for a van, if you will, behind the seats, but definitely I like the fact that you got this tray. You've got this understorage here, which is pretty cool. I'll pull this out on both sides. And the nice thing is you can take that right out. So you can put different stuff under there if you don't want it disorganized. Or you can take this bench right out and then you've got more upright space. Now what you can do as well, like a conventional van, you can get these seats. And as you can see, they're pretty easy to fold down, which is nice. And then here you got low level space. I'm gonna call right in because one of the fun things about this was camping. Oh, now, of course, when you look back here, those also fold flat. So let's do that while we're back here. Oh, okay. Oh, my stuff's in the way. All right, here we go. So as you can see here, when I flip this around, you've got tons and tons of space back here. So these here will also fold flat. We'll go down, do that in a second. So you really do have a lot of space where you could sleep or put stuff. And these two back seats also come out if you do need a lot more room that way, and only 4 to 5 people. So let's come around. And what I want to show you as well too, like my Volkswagen Golf R, I love all the little practical features and little solutions. You got the power outlet back, so if you're camping, you want to plug something in, or for that spare tire. And then here we've got all kinds of really interesting hooks and things like that. Just so much creative space as well. No vacuum in the back of here or anything else like that. And you do have the battery, so you don't have the stow and go storage like you do in some minivans. But this here, you got a really impressive and cool look that people are actually going to want to get in this minivan. So yeah, really, really nice. You got all kinds of stuff in here, and this being carpeted, there's different accessories and stuff that Velcro right onto there, which is pretty cool. So we come around here and we have automatic doors that move about as fast as me in the winter time. Okay, so as you can see, one thing I want to show you in here is like I can pretty much come right in here and stand up. Now I am quite short, but there is tons and tons of space in here. So look at this. Yeah, this is amazing. Like I've got tons and tons of space back here, and this is a true 7th row or a 3rd row or 7-seater because it's actually comfortable. And one of the things that I like here is these headrests. You can put them up, obviously, to be more comfortable, or put them down so they're not in your way when you are driving as the driver. And I like all the facts that, like right here, you have a power outlet back here, you've got cup holders, you've got lots of windows and space. Even with these seats here, we'll put this back. Actually, I'll go over to this side because I'm having trouble and I'm freezing. So as you can see here, that seat is pretty big in front of me, but I can still see. The visibility is not too bad. And as I said, it's quite comfortable back here. I can't believe how much space there is. And it's easy to move around. So as an adult, as you can see, I can get front to back really, really easy. And that's nice. Now, this being the all-wheel drive, we have the captain chairs back here. Lots and lots of space. So ingress and egress is very easy. I can't believe how easy it is to get in here. Tons and tons of space. You've got vents everywhere. You got little lights everywhere. Really, really easy to use door handle. And as we said, you actually have heated seats in the middle here. This thing is really, really nice. So everybody has their own plug. You've got power doors up here. You've got heated seats, amazing sound system, lots of light. And as you can see, this optional roof, which I imagine most will get, is really, really cool because of the fact it just looks so nice. You get so much light in here, which I really, really like. Back of the seats, you've got all kinds of pockets. So in here, you can put your cell phone and watch neutral reviews, your favorite show, not that Blockbuster Video. And down here, you got map pockets because, of course, everybody uses maps nowadays. It's called navigation. So let's go up front and check that as well. All right, getting into the bus here. And it really does look like a bus. Look at all of this window space. I love it. And I got to tell you, it is fun to drive. It's a little unnerving because you can't see the front. Well, actually, you know where the front is because it drops right off. But for parking and things like that, just let me shut the door here. So one of the nice things is with an electric vehicle, when you get in here and you sit on the seat because you have the keys in your pocket, it knows that you're ready to go. So it kind of puts it on ACC mode. And then when you put your foot on the brake, it is actually turned on, so to speak. So what you do is you, let's say if you have it in reverse, let's just start that. You have your 360 camera. your normal cameras. Of course, I have the tailgate up so you can't see. I wonder why that looks so weird. But if you put it into drive, for instance, when you are in park, it does the opposite. Look at that. Front camera. So there you go. Now, one of the other things that I really like here is you've got ventilated seats and heated seats that you can do at the same time, but you also have massaging seats, front and passenger. So you can put on the duration that you want, and you have the different types that you want. So let's do the waves. That might be fun. I've never tried this before. I'll hit start. Oh, that's actually massaging my back. This is weird. I kind of like it. Anyway, so you have that. It is, you've got a lot of functionality that way. And one of the things that I really like too is look at the materials in here. I really find that Volkswagen, especially the last, well, always really, but especially the last decade or so, has just seemed to really be a premium vehicle. But expensive, yes, as we said, but not quite Lexus and things like that, or Mercedes. I guess we're keeping with the Germans. But look at this sunroof thing. So you can see out, and then now not so much. So see if I can change that. Yeah, that's really interesting. So see those trees there? Bye. So you do have that, and look at all this space back here. As we were saying, it is incredible how much space that you have. And you also have an electronic 3-zone as well, like my car, Volkswagen, does really well. So they want people to actually have their own temperatures back there. And as we were saying, you do have heated seats in those middle ones as well. But even up here, it just seems like everywhere you go, you have a power outlet for someone, USB-C, and some sort of storage, and lots of windows to look out. I really like that. But these materials, as I said, really are nice, whether it's the leather, whether it is this, I don't know, grainy type material on the dash. Really nice. And of course, the German vehicles always feel like tanks. This one's around 7,000 pounds, so it probably is a tank. And but they feel really well built. Like, listen to the doors here. Yeah, that's nice. Really like that. So now these come really fully loaded. So look here, we've got a heads-up display. I don't know if you can see that because of the snow, but that is nice, and mine works well on my car. And then you do have this smaller little infotainment gauge thing here that gives you pretty much everything that you're going to need realistically. And this is kind of like old school driving. You really want to be out there looking out in front of you anyway. And this goes up and down with the steering wheel. You do have haptic buttons on here, which are mapped to do most of the things that you would need in the infotainment. The only thing that I find a little ironic is that we have a pause button down here, but I don't find one anywhere around here, which is strange. You basically have to turn this thing off or slide your volume all the way to the left. Now, when we come here, I do like this. This does light up now. This is new for 2025. It is a really fast system. Well, actually, I should use a different camera. It's really fast, much like your cell phone. You've got, your home screen. You've got widgets. All of this is customizable. You just hit your finger on it and move it around. It's very similar to your smartphone with a lot of shortcuts and things like that. But when we come here, you've got your cup holders up here, which grip really nice, and you have the Buzz Box. Now this is pretty cool. So you got a built-in snow scraper, a built-in water bottle bottle opener, and then this whole thing moves. And as you can see back there, there's 3 different spots that this clips into, which is a nice feature to be able to move that around. So as we said, you can't put the seats in the floor because of the battery, but you got a way cooler look, and this thing is huge. So you actually have lots and lots of space even without that. And yeah, like I said, you can still take most of the seats out and store them somewhere. So the main thing is this thing is fun to drive. So let's take it for a drive. All right, driving the ID Buzz. Now remember, this segment here is, instead of me going for the manufacturer's side, I'm on your side, and I'm going to take this for a test drive and let you know how it actually feels in reality. So how does it feel in reality? Well, it feels like an electric minivan, which is actually a pretty good thing because of the fact, and actually more than a minivan, because to me, when I was growing up, minivans were a lot smaller than this. So this here is about the same size as your now minivans, your Carnivals for Kia, your Odyssey for Honda and your Toyota Sienna. So they're quite large, but they're so big nowadays. Like when I was growing up, these were more of like a truck-based van that was this big. To get this kind of like 7-8 seats, this one has 6 to 7, but I mean it had the size of those vehicles back then, and because they were on a truck frame, you felt like you were driving a truck. They were extremely, you know, all over the place, rough, not really precise in the steering, kind of like the U-Haul I just rented not that long ago, where I could turn the wheel like this and nothing happened. Whereas you can see here, it's very, very sharp and precise because you got electronic steering. It's an electronic vehicle. You got a lot of that there. So even when, pardon me, even when I did the Kia Carnival not that long ago, one of the things that I really appreciated with that was on the front end of the vehicle anyway, it felt a lot more like a car when you were driving. It was still a little whimsical, and we still got some one-wheel peel, but all in all, it was a very nice driving vehicle. This is even more so, because one of the things with the electric vehicles, and I'm not a huge electric person because of how heavy they are and things like that, and there's not a lot of emotion, but this car has a lot of emotion because of the way it looks. But yes, but one thing with the electric cars, and we're doing our highway and handling kind of quick test here, with the batteries so low and packed down, the center of gravity is a lot lower, so it's kind of like a real heavy skateboard underneath you, and they do handle quite well. Sometimes they're a little hard to stop and a little hard to get going because of the weight, but all in all, as you can see, compared to those old, you know, like Chevy vans and things like this, is old and really, really good. Okay, whoa, look at the torque. All right, so I can definitely, yeah, see, we got up to highway speed and then some. All right, yeah, so see, as you can see, you got plenty of power to get on the highway, and actually, it is minivan fast. So, as you could see in the beginning of the vehicle, when I kind of drove away in the beginning there, it's not zippy. It actually, I should say, it feels a little bit zippy. It's not like the old minivans and things like that where it's like super scary slow. This, like I said, you're in the rear wheel drive, you're probably 6-7 seconds, and all-wheel drive here 5-6 seconds for 0 to 60, and that's moving like it really is. I have a Golf R, which is their pinnacle sports type car, fast car, and it does 0 to 60 in the high 5s or high 4s. So you're not far off from that in this big giant 7,000 pound vehicle. So with that being so, it feels great. It feels like a vehicle that's really pretty nimble for a van. It's definitely powerful enough, because with these electric motors, you get all that grunt in the bottom end. So, you know, are you going to be flying down here NASCAR style? No. But you don't need to. Like I said, like if I pretended I don't need to pass someone, but if I needed to, yeah, look at that. I could easily get around someone if I wanted to. And the transitions, is that ever nice? Again, I got a lot of visibility. These big mirrors are nice. I've got these windows out the front. I feel like I've got all kinds of visibility here. And even with the rear view mirror, when I put it up here like this, with those headrests down in the very, very back seat, I can see just fine. And actually, I was quite surprised. I did some parking tests. I wish I had a little bit more time with this vehicle. And again, thank you, Delmar, for loaning it. But it's such a popular vehicle right now. There's literally a lineup of people for it. So I'm thankful for any opportunity to get behind the wheel of this thing. But I did park it because that was one of the things I'd be worried about. Sometimes when I do these big SUVs and things like that, they're hard to park. I'm used to a tiny, small car. So this here, easy to park. And one of the things I like, obviously, like all vehicles, you got the rear camera, but you also have a front camera. Now, it does look like it's way up there. I could have somebody else sleep up there, probably not safe. I don't recommend it. But back in the day, he probably would have did it in the 60s and 70s on the way to Woodstock, you know. But realistically, you know that the vehicle kind of just drops off right in front of you. But, you know, it's very expensive. You don't want to scratch it. It's awesome. So what you want to do is use that front camera. So when you turn it on to reverse, it pops on the cameras, and you put it on to forward at that same time, and it tricks it and puts the camera in front, and then you can do that as well. So it's really, really, really handy. I was actually quite surprised at how easy this thing is to kind of maneuver and get around. It's a real pleasure. Also, when you're cruising around, you're probably going to have to listen to the Rugrats in the back, because this is an extremely quiet vehicle. You know, is it a Rolls Royce or something? No, but it is very, very quiet in here in a good way. It's really, really nice. I don't know, I'm warming up to this thing. I really, really like it. I'm not a huge electric person, you know, not against anti-electric or anything else like that, but, you know, it doesn't evoke a lot of emotion, but the look of this vehicle does. And you don't drive this vehicle because you want big V8 sounds. You never did. Or, you know, razor sharp handling, although the handling is really good for this type of vehicle, I have to say. Woo! But anyway, I mean, all in all, you're buying this thing because it invokes an emotion. And it does that really, really well. I remember when they brought out the Beetle, the original Type 1, the retro look at that thing, and it was sold like hotcakes, and I imagine this will too, because when I went to go talk to the dealer the other night, because I stopped just to look at it, some customer came in front of me, this older fella, and he walked right in front of me and just started asking questions. He didn't know I was a reviewer. He was that excited about the vehicle. He hopped right in line and butted in front of me. It was incredible. You know, people have been staring at it this morning when I've been driving around, because it's an interesting looking vehicle. And much like my Golf R, people will say, well, how in the world, why would you spend so much money on a hatchback? That's crazy. And maybe it is, but you know what? I don't mind making a payment on it because I enjoy the look of the vehicle, enjoy the sound of the vehicle, the way it feels underneath me, and all the practicality that comes along with it. And this is very similar. No, it doesn't have the same kind of poppy burbles and all the bops and bangs and things like that, but what this does have is a really nice, comfortable, smooth place to be. It's really, really, really great. Now, on the flip side, because like I said, well, actually what I want to say too is it feels very premium in here as well. The same with my Volkswagen, you know, but you're not paying the Audi price. But honestly, nowadays, Audi seems to have come down a little bit and Volkswagen has seemed to come up. And I don't really know what you could change in here. Like, you got a lot of soft plastics, you got where it's hard, it's hidden, it's really attractive, different colors, different materials, different shapes. I just love the Volkswagen that way, and how practical everything is. Like, you've got, like, of course everything is practical nowadays. Of course you got cup holders and things like that, but these have cup holders that work, and you've got a charging station that works, and plugs that work, and door cards you can actually fit actual real water bottles nowadays in, and things like that. So that's really good. But what is not so good about this? Well, what I would say about being not so good is, why are you buying the vehicle? I just told you that I bought that Volkswagen Golf because, yes, it's an incredible amount of practicality for a small car, but really it's not a small SUV either, is it? But I make compromises with that car because I love it and it makes me happy. And I think as long as you're coming into this with that mindset, knowing that no, it's not a Kia Carnival, you don't have a vacuum in the back, and you don't have seats that can fold into the floor, and things like that. So it's not going to be as ultra convenient. Nor do you have a gasoline engine. So, you know, one of the downsides with an electric vehicle is infrastructure. It's not so much the vehicle itself, as we don't have a lot of infrastructure that works well. Tesla, you know, kind of invented all this in a sense, and if you want that, then go buy a Tesla, because it's easy. You just plug it in, and it's just easy that way. Whereas, no offense to Volkswagen, it's no different than any other vehicle. They're finicky. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't when you're plugging them in. They never, including Teslas, get the range that they say. This says you're going to get approximately 375 kilometers on a full charge. But realistically, just like back in the old days with fuel economy and things like that, you never got what the window sticker said. But I find with electric vehicles, a lot more exaggeration on that because of where you live, how you drive. That was always somewhat the case with gasoline, but really with electric vehicles, like the cold really affects these things. So realistically, you know, if you're using this as a hockey mom or dad or things like that, you're probably going to be able to get to most tournaments, most places, but you're going to have to make sure that you plug it in. Now, with that being so, one of the cool things here too is with the built-in navigation. That's nice. Most people are going to use your Android Auto or Apple CarPlay, but this here, what you can do is when you're mapping out something on a trip, it will show you, because it knows your vehicle, where those charging stations are to help you along your trip as well. So that is pretty cool, and it will preheat the battery as well. So it does a lot of things to help make it charge as fast as possible and get as much as possible, but still not a gasoline engine that way. So if you, like I said, if that's what you're really looking for, you're going to be disappointed. Go buy yourself a Tesla or something else, or, you know, buy yourself a gasoline hybrid if you want even more practicality. But compared to the vans that I had growing up, this is still tons of practicality. And like I said, you know what, for most people, you plug this thing in at home, at work, infrastructure is getting better and better all the time. For the most part, you're not going to see any issues. Just be prepared that if you're going on a long trip to do that. So I'd have to say I could ramble on forever. I'm pleasantly surprised with this thing. I hate minivans, I hate SUVs, but I could actually see myself driving one of these things, because it's a ton of fun to look at, it's a ton of fun to be in, and it doesn't feel like an electric car to me. All in all, I have to say that this is a great vehicle to be in, to drive, and everything else. And